You've been underestimated your whole life. People assume that because you're quiet, because you listen more than you speak, and because you feel so deeply that you must also be easy to manipulate. They think they can guilt you, pressure you, or control you the way they do everyone else. But what they don't realize is that you've built walls they can't climb. You've been through enough disappointment, betrayal, and emotional games to know exactly how people operate. And instead of letting those experiences break you, you've turned them into armor. You don't argue for validation, you don't beg for approval, and you don't give away your energy freely. While others are trapped in emotional chaos, you move with clarity and control. That's what makes you untouchable, not because you don't feel, but because you've mastered the balance between empathy and strength. You master emotional boundaries, you know where you end and others begin, so no one can blur those lines. You've learned to draw a clear line between your emotions and everyone else's, and that's why people can't pull you off center. You can feel what someone is going through without making it your responsibility to fix it. You listen, you care, and then you check in with yourself. Does this align with your values? Does this drain you or strengthen you? That inner checkpoint is your filter. It lets you say no without guilt, step back without drama, and stay present without getting tangled in someone else's chaos. You don't absorb accusations that aren't true or accept pressure disguised as care. When someone tries to blur the line through guilt, urgency, or flattery, you notice the tactic and hold your ground. Your empathy stays open, but your gate stays locked. You're available, not accessible to everyone. And because you know where you end and others begin, you protect your peace while still being the kind of person who shows up with clarity, not collapse. You don't crave external validation, you don't need approval to feel secure, making you harder to manipulate. You don't live for applause, and that's what makes you untouchable. Where most people bend themselves to fit expectations or chase approval just to feel worthy, you don't. You've reached a point where your self-worth doesn't depend on likes, compliments, or validation from anyone else. When someone tries to manipulate you with guilt, flattery, or silent treatment, it simply doesn't land. Because you're not wired to need their approval in the first place. You know who you are, and that grounded self-awareness makes you immune to many of the traps that pull others in. You don't get hooked by praise, and you don't break under criticism. You listen, filter, and then decide if it resonates with your truth. That balance is rare, and it's exactly why people can't control you. Your strength comes from within, and because of that, you're free in a way most people can't imagine. You see through emotional games. You spot guilt trips, gaslighting, and flattery before they even land. You don't fall for emotional tricks because you see them coming before they even have a chance to land. When someone tries to guilt trip you, you can feel the manipulation behind their words instead of getting lost in the surface emotion. Gaslighting doesn't work on you either. You notice the contradictions, the shifts in tone, and the way someone tries to twist your reality. Even flattery doesn't sway you because you can sense when it's genuine and when it's just a tactic to get closer. This ability to read beneath the surface makes you nearly impossible to fool. You don't just hear what people say, you pick up on what they're not saying, the intention behind the mask. That sharp intuition is why others often underestimate you. They think they can play their usual games, but you've already decoded their moves before they make them. You balance empathy with detachment. You feel deeply, but you don't let emotions control your decisions. You feel emotions more deeply than most people, but you don't let them run your life. When someone hurts you, you don't deny the pain. You acknowledge it, process it, and then step back before it controls your choices. Your empathy allows you to understand people on a level that often surprises them, but your detachment keeps you from being consumed by their chaos. You can love someone fully and still walk away if they cross your boundaries. You can care deeply yet stay calm when others would lose control. That balance is what makes you emotionally untouchable. You're not cold, you're steady. You don't harden your heart to avoid feeling. You strengthen your mind so your feelings don't decide for you. And that ability to care without being controlled is what gives you true emotional power. You process pain internally, not publicly. You don't hand people the power to see you break. You've learned how to carry pain without putting it on display. When something cuts deep, you don't broadcast it to the world because you know that vulnerability in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. Instead, you go inward. You reflect, you process, and you heal in silence. People may assume you're unaffected because you don't show your wounds, but the truth is you've chosen strength over spectacle. You don't give anyone the satisfaction of watching you break down because your healing isn't for their eyes, it's for your own growth. By processing pain internally, you keep control of your story. You don't let anyone write the narrative of your suffering, and that's what makes you emotionally untouchable. You choose response over reaction. You pause, observe, and respond with control instead of impulsively. You don't let emotions push you into impulsive reactions, and that's a rare strength. When someone tries to provoke you, you don't fire back in the heat of the moment. Instead, you pause, you observe the situation, you read the intent behind the words, and then you decide how to respond. That pause gives you power. It keeps you in control while others lose theirs. People who thrive on chaos expect you to react instantly because that's when they can manipulate or twist the story. But when you step back and choose your response with clarity, you disarm them completely. You turn every interaction into a choice instead of a trap. This is why you're so hard to rattle. Your control over your reactions keeps you untouchable, even in the middle of conflict. You don't overexpose your vulnerabilities. You keep your inner world protected, giving people little to weaponize. You don't let the world see every crack in your armor. When life hurts, you process those wounds quietly, keeping your most fragile parts hidden where no one can reach them. This doesn't mean you're cold or closed off. It means you understand how dangerous it is to give the wrong person a map to your soul. Some people weaponize vulnerability, twisting your pain into leverage, and you refuse to hand them that kind of power. Instead, you share only what you choose with people who've proven they can be trusted. The rest, you keep it guarded, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. This is why people can't figure you out. They may sense your depth, but they'll never truly touch the core of who you are unless you allow it. That protection is what keeps you strong, centered, and untouchable. You walk away from emotional chaos. You'd rather cut ties than let drama take root in your life. You don't let yourself get dragged into storms that aren't yours to carry. When people thrive on drama, manipulation, or emotional chaos, you recognize the trap immediately and you choose to walk away. You've learned that staying in toxic environments doesn't make you stronger, it only drains you. Instead of arguing, defending yourself, or trying to fix what can't be fixed, you cut ties with calm precision. Your silence speaks louder than any fight ever could. By stepping away, you protect your peace, your focus, and your emotional energy. People may accuse you of being cold or detached, but the truth is, you value clarity and stability more than constant conflict. You know that true strength isn't in staying, it's in walking away when chaos threatens to take root in your life. You grow stronger from every setback. Each challenge teaches you resilience, making you even harder to touch. Every setback you've faced has shaped you into someone stronger than before. While others may crumble under pressure, you use challenges as fuel to grow. You take the lessons, the scars, and the pain, and you turn them into wisdom that makes you harder to shake the next time life tests you. Each betrayal, rejection, or failure becomes part of your armor, not something that defines you, but something that sharpens you. People often underestimate how much you've been through, but that's because you don't wear your struggles like a badge. Instead, you quietly rebuild, stronger and wiser each time. This is why you're emotionally untouchable, because no matter what life throws at you, you always rise, and you rise sharper than before. That's the strength of being a Sigma INFJ. You're not just surviving, you're evolving with every challenge. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and come back for more. But let me ask you this. When life tested you the hardest, did it make you stronger, or did it change you in ways you never expected?